Have you ever tried to cross stitch, but every time you cross stitch, you ended up poking yourself 1,000 times and ended up going to the hospital with tetanus and having $1,000 in credit card debt? Well, have I got the solution for you. My new tutorial, completely AI 3, only using Photoshop, because every time you use AI, I cry. So, before we get into the tutorial, welcome back to Good Enough Photography. I'm a beginner photographer. You can check out my website at Good Enough Photography, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. So, how are we gonna start this out? Well, first, we need the pixels. We need them to be larger. See how small these are right now? We can't have that. That's too small. So, what we have to do is we gotta go to image size. Then we set it to 100 or 200 depending on your image. I think 100 looked good with this one. So, we're in that right now. So now what you want to do is you want to go back to image. You would like to press mode, indexed color. You want to make sure it is on local perceptual. You want either 11 or somewhere to 40 colors. I think I'm going to do 50 for this one. It is a little above 40, but as long as you keep it in that range, like around like 10 or like I would say it's more like 1150, but it really just depends on your image. We want forced to be none. We want no transparency. We want this to be none and this to be none. We're gonna click OK. This is what our image looks like right now. Now we need to make it large again. So we go to image size. We want to make sure that resample is checked and nearest neighbor hard edges is enabled. Now we want to bring our image back up to 1000 or whatever size you would like. I choose 1000 though. See, we still have that pixelated effect. So now we want to change our color back to RGB after we change it to index. So we go back to image, go back to mode, go back to image, go back to mode. Then we go to RGB colors. Now, we would like to add the mosaic filter. There are many filters in the filter tab. We will be using a few of them today. There's filter gallery, adaptive, camera, lens correction, blur gallery, distort, noise, pixelate, render, blah, blah, blah. We want pixelate right now. There's multiple things under pixelate. I used color halftone in a past video for my comic book tutorial if you would like to watch that. Right now, we are using the mosaic feature. See, okay, if we set this to 160, you see how big the pixels get? And if we set this to 15, see, if we press preview on and off, it doesn't look like our image. So we want to try to match it to look like our image. So 10 seems to match our image pretty good, see? So I would do that. I'd press OK. Okay, so now we need to make a 7x7 grid. So we want new file. So we need 7 pixels by 7 pixels with a blank transparent background. We go into here and we zoom all the way in. We want a pixel guide. So, we press that grid button, as you saw. We go into show. Make sure extras is on, because if extras is off, it won't happen. But if we go into show and press grid, it turns on extras immediately. So just make sure extras is on so you can get the nice pixel grid. Then we grab our brush tool. Where's the brush tool? Okay. We would like to start with black first. And this is how we're going to make the cross stitch effect. We can't just filter it out. We have to use these patterns. So our first pattern, by the way, you want to make sure that it's opaque enough. So I like to use the normal brush with a pixel size of 1. So we want to go down from the left side, and we want to put a pixel there. Now, we go here. Make sure that you don't accidentally color 2 pixels at once. If you do, just undo it. But you see I accidentally did there. We want this opaque. And boom, we have our first one. this will be our shade. I've already made them, but I'm going to show you how to save it. So, we go to... We have to define it as a pattern. So, okay, so we want to go to edit, and we want to go down into define pattern. This pattern one will be our shadow, so label it as such. Now we need another 7x7. We're going to need 3 of these in total. The next one is highlight, so we need a white color. Make sure to zoom that in, and make sure it's white, because sometimes you might accidentally press it, it's more like a pink or whatever color you have preset there. And we want this one to look like this. So we go 3 down, make sure it's completely opaque. Then we go diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. Then we put 1 here. And then, nope, I put 2 there. We want to just put 1 here. And that is our highlight. So we go back into edit. We go back into define pattern, and we put highlight. Now, we just need 1 more, and this one is the simplest one. It's going to be the hole. Because, like, cross stitch, it has a hole in it because it's, like, stitched. Yeah, it's, like, because, like, you start with a grid, and then you, like, take the needle, and then you, like, make an X, and that's why it's called cross stitch and stuff. So we want to go back to black, and this one's really simple. We just need 1 pixel right in the bottom corner. Even though this seems like nothing, it's important. So now we go back to edit. We go back to... God, I hate these. Define pattern. Then we put in hole. I spelled it wrong. Hole. Perfect. So now we go back to wrong image. Wrong image. Wrong image. Right image. Sorry. I have too many tabs up there. So now we go back to our original image. Now, we want to make sure that it's the right size for this to lay. So first what we want to do is we want to turn this into a smart object. So we did that. And now what we want to do is we want to go to filter, other, minimum, and make sure it's set at 1 pixel. It looks a little funky. It'll be fine. Trust. Okay. Now we go back to filter, back to other. I said back to other. Then we go maximum 1 pixel. See, it, fixes itself out. Now we go back to filter. We go to blur, and we go to Gaussian blur, or is it, I don't know. And we want to make sure that it's set at 1.3 pixels. It looks a little funky right now, but just trust the process. So now we want to go to the layers tab in the top corner. We scroll all the way down. Well, it's not all the way down. It's at the top. Great. We go new fill layer, and we would like to press pattern. We're going to name this one. You don't have to name it. I just like naming it. So we're going to name it shadow. And it puts the default pattern right there. We're not using that. So if we go here, this is our shade shadow pattern. Here's the ones I just made, but it's literally the exact same thing. So I'm just going to be using these right here. So here's our shade pattern. I just named it different for some reason. So now we would like to make it a smart object. Then we go up to this little area here. We press on multiply, and we set it to 40% opacity. We go back to the shadow, and we go to filter, noise, add noise, and we would like to add 100 noise here, 100% noise. I don't know. Then we go back to filter, we go back to blur. We do Gaussian blur again, but this time we want 1.5 pixels of Gaussian blur. Gaussian, I don't know. Now we need a third layer. We go back to the layers tab, we go back to new fill layer, we go back to pattern, we name this one highlight. We grab our highlight pattern. Looks a little funky, but give it a minute. Then we go to convert to smart object. Then we set this one as a screen, as you can see right here, screen, and we put it at opacity of 15. Now we want to click back on highlight to go to filter, and we would like to add more noise again. So we go back to noise, add noise, we do 200 this time. Then we go back to filter, then we do the blur, the Gaussian blur, and we make sure that it's 1 pixel. So now we want to add our the whole layer. So we go to new fill layer, we go to pattern, we name this one hole, we go in here, I grab our hole, boom. You can already see it's kind of coming together, but it looks a little funky. So we want to change this one to a smart filter again. Smart object, I don't know, I keep calling it filter. Then we change this one to multiply again. We set it to 80% opacity. If you accidentally click it, just press exit, and cancel, not exit. Then we go back to filter. We do noise again. Add noise. We go to 30. Then we do the Gaussian blur again. And it's just going to be the 1 again. So now we have this image, but it's a little blurry right now, as you can see. So what we want to do, I like to close them to make it easier, but that's optional. You just hold control down and you click all of them. I said you click all of them. Then we convert it to a smart object. It might ask you, like, are you sure you want to do this? Just press yes. I'm pretty sure I have that turned off, though, because I got tired of the pop-ups. So after we do that, we want to go to filter, sharpen, unsharp mask, and we want to make sure that it's set to 300%, 1 pixel radius, and a 0 threshold. And as you can see here, if we zoom in, we have that sort of cross-stitched effect. This is the finished tutorial. This is what the image looks like. It looks good. And it's one of my more complicated tutorials just because you have to make these pixels. But as you can see from these images, it looks good. It does look a little different on like darker images. So, but no, it does. Even if you have like simpler images like this one, you can still tell what it is. So it is a good effect, and it does get the point across of what it's supposed to be. When I was looking for like how to make like a tapestry or something, I couldn't find anything besides like these parametric filters or whatever. But those are like beta only, and not everyone has them. And I don't have them. See, it would be somewhere in here, but I don't have any parametric filters. And even if I like looked at the help, it would be like not available, only available on beta. So like, yeah, because that one has like this really cool thing that just turns into embroidery, but I don't have that. So I'm like, I guess I'll do this because I was trying to figure out how to do embroidery. Now I did get the tips to making the pattern layers from the Adobe like forum thing that they have on their website, where it's just like a bunch of people asking questions and then solving those questions. So this isn't 100% like me originally, but I did combine like a bunch of tutorials, so it is kind of original. I don't know, but I think it looks good overall. It's a good image, it's a good effect too, and you can even like, you could probably even do the same thing with your drawings. You could just do a pixel drawing and then you take like the filter things and make the, yeah. But I think it's a good effect. I think it's a strong effect because, like, I mean, you could tell it's supposed to be sewn or something. You know, it almost looks like a sweater of sorts. Wonder if I can figure out how to make something look crocheted. I don't know. That's probably gonna be a totally different endeavor or something. I don't know. I think it looks good. So, thank you for watching my tutorial. This was Good Enough Photography. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my other videos.